helping to facilitate that. We've got great wealth of assets that we could utilise. That was the go-to place. Our experience in Barnsley is we haven't got a third sector coordinating organisation, but we found ourselves stepping into a space to work with the community launch sector that organisation should be fulfilling. We're working to improve their role, I guess, is what I would say. But we, as a local authority, did step into a space that perhaps wasn't appropriate for us, but we recognise something needed to happen. And what hinders? We can combine a couple here. The qualities gap in relation to organisations who aren't diverse enough and don't reflect the communities that they serve. That might put people off from volunteering within them. And linked to that, we have people who need to identify their own passion and drivers to motivate them to volunteer. And not just seeing volunteering as a one-size-fits-all, this is what we want to come and do, but it's about what interests people and working with that to start to point.
And you missed the best one, which is what hinders professional egos, which I think plays to the discussion on, this is about food, what helps, which is, my big takeaway from the morning discussions was the shifted mindset, culture and behaviour is probably the hardest thing to crack. Wendy's agreeing with me. Sophie.
Brilliant, so we've got professional egos here as well, so I'm going to hand it to Karen and Dawn for this one.
Hello, hi. The things we picked up here, obviously there's quite a lot of overlap, but I think the big issues here are about focusing on neighbourhoods that make sense to the people who live there. So be really clear on what you mean by a neighbourhood. And a lot of talk about great ideas for ways to foster connections in those communities, in those neighbourhoods, but sort of generally an underlying theme of strengthening the identity of the people that are there, that are doing those things and are feeling confident and strong about what they're doing. And the other part perhaps is connecting that into wider social movements, sort of the big picture, the things that we want to change on the national scale, like, owning this would be a really good thing if we addressed it nationally as well as in our neighbourhoods. And the things that would hinder, the big things possibly is about people just not recognising the skills they have. So folk just not feeling confident and not really seeing themselves as part of the solution yet. What do we do about that? And the other thing that came up quite a bit was about money and competitiveness, I guess, in areas between organisations or individuals or different groups within that community. Those are all things that can hinder. And I think one, just sort of coming back to what's positive, was a comment made about finding common ground, finding the things we can all agree on that we can then make the changes for. So not every element of a community is going to agree on everything. People will have different ideas, but finding the common ground is the way forward.
That's great. Should we move on this way? Go.
So the question we were looking at is how do we shape the market and resource and nurture locally rooted social and community solutions? We were lucky enough to ask a couple of commissioners about what gets in the way of this happening and what would help. So the question was, how do you make sure that all these fabulous things that could be available happened in your area? They said what would really help is if it was the expectation of elected members and senior managers that these things were present and it was being actively supported. We also had regulate innovation in an innovative way. Invest in relationships, trust and belief. It's so easy to blame the others, whether it's the commissioner's fault or it's procurement's fault or it's provider's fault because they're not inventive enough. And devolving power and trusting people, as Les said. And what hinders is fundamentally about being risk averse.
I love we need to regulate innovation in an innovative way. Lots of innovation needs to happen in the regulation space. I completely agree, thank you. We're going to go back on this one, so it's a bit like tennis. We're going to go back and forth.
Okay, we were talking about measurement and elevation and all that side and stuff. I'll start with the challenges first, so I have any positives. There was still quite a few that sort of wellbeing stuff still feels very much like a tip box, and it starts off being outcomes, but in the end, people still count things, and there's a lot of people whose job it is to count things. So that means, you get things being measured by whether the service is delivering 100% of its target, not if it's actually making a difference. There's still a focus on eligibility, and that's a reality many things, and many staff and services are risk averse. And different service areas want different KPIs. We still do a lot of assessment now and conversations. Leeds has moved to that and a few of the areas has, but I would guarantee that in social work and Leeds still isn't thinking about services and service line and how I assess somebody and get them into that service. And for the bigger areas, we also do a lot of work in our latest terrible twin-track city, so rightfully we're shifting areas into areas of deprivation that look like it's in nature as a deficit model, and that's a bit of a problem. One for me, I mean, it's great that everyone's looking at asset base, but people are just throwing it in with no real understanding of it. Somebody said in an STP the other day, oh, we love it. So it's very asset based. Said it in the first paragraph, spent the rest of the time talking about services and how we're going to move them about. And there's still two traditional commissioning models, as I was saying earlier, we're trying to shift that, the whole systems design like that. And I speak as somebody who's a joint partner with the NHS for the last 12 years, it's particularly difficult to shift the NHS. And shifting from service line is hard. That's what we've been doing for years and years. And I've heard people say, including some lovely services, go, oh, you're saying that we shouldn't have a job anymore. And I'm going, yeah, I think I am. That's quite difficult. It's quite often seen as a way of cutting services. You know, our local authorities moving away from their responsibility. We haven't got any money anymore, we're pulling up the drawbridge, go sort it out. And there's a real danger of that, you know, unless you really drive this from a political. And to end with a radical, I think personalisation's been a real problem. What it's done is target the problem squarely with the individual and individual solutions, and actually that's taken away with the chance for communities and neighbourhoods to be the solution. But there's lots of positives about communities identifying what they want to change is something that should be recorded. Stories, stories, stories. Just collect those stories. They're incredibly powerful in bringing about change. Constant networking, doing asset mapping, but really bottom-up asset mapping. Not some tool you buy from the NHS Digital, communities identifying the assets. Huge thing about permission. Just giving permission to staff to go try something new and something different and go out there and do things. Not everybody needs a DBS check. You don't have when you go to a neighbour's back. You know, just give people permission to be named away. And then finally, the big stuff is measures of that really big stuff. Sorry. So you can start to look at big spend on traditional services. You can start to look at activity and start to pull that. Recognising that a really positive staff culture is how we bring this about. Somebody asked us, they didn't say who the us was, but I'm assuming that's communities, neighbourhoods, etc. and focus on what matters. I have no idea what you haven't got a job means, apart from maybe me not having a job, but I am reducing the hours, so I'm getting there.
That's great. And there's something interesting about what's come out of these two, because there was something about give people permission, and you said something about actually having to build confidence to do things differently as well, which I think, so permission isn't enough unless people have got confidence to work differently for me. Thanks. Ewan, over to you.
Okay, over here we were dealing with the question, how do we know what's out there and all the resources that are available? And as you can see, there's a bigger cluster of yellow post-it notes on positives than there are on the what hinders. Starting with what hinders, people did talk disparagingly about the state of local authority directories, which are out of date, clunky, often presenting a very large number of services to people that aren't necessarily what people want in the first place. And what we heard about on the converse is how areas like Derby and York are almost asking communities to come together and own and update those directories, so that they're very much devolved to the community level, and information is at a neighbourhood level and very accessible for people. A lot of comments about how there's a range of different approaches that are necessary, from using physical resources like cafes and libraries and some of those more traditional places people congregate, through to social media and using that much more actively to ask people, using a hashtag for your local area, asking people for information and advice, and people very often come back pretty quickly. And it's not just about finding out what's out there, but by finding out what's out there, you're also trying to find out what gaps exist. And that's part of the process, finding where those gaps are and working with communities to plug those gaps. So lots of good information about what works and some really good case studies we can put into some kind of resource in the future.
Fantastic. Over to Kat.
Okay, in terms of the question that we were answering around workforce, how can we share power differently and include more people with current and recent lived experience of using services in the workforce? Actually, quite a lot of our discussion is centred around what is the workforce, and is that actually the right question if we really want to change things? And should we be thinking much more around how can we work together to develop good models of support? And I guess in terms of making it real, the last domain is, although we have as a subtitle used the word workforce, it's about the people who support me. And actually those people could be workers or, you know, communities, people, friends, neighbours, whoever. So there was quite a lot of discussion around that, which started from the point of view for who is the we. And actually, if we're talking about co-production and working together, then, you know, it's about all of us. There was an interesting point around the asset-based area, which I think links back to some of the stuff around neighbourhoods and communities and impact and capacity building, around actually recruiting people who live in an area to be part of that workforce or be part of that system of support for people, and using all the assets that are available and not just the services. Relationships are key. Building relationships is central to everything. Valuing and including people with lived experience in organisational and workforce development and training, but really valuing and including them, not just getting people in to tick boxes or whatever. And that there was a big conversation around shaping work around communities, not the person. That needs to start right from the point of business case planning, whatever it is people spend far too much time and money on. Management consultants were highlighted as a hindrance. Things like access to work in terms of diversifying the workforce, the fact that people, it's easier, there are some groups or cohorts of people that it's easier to absorb into the workforce to get those stats up to say that you are a diverse workforce. Access to work is an issue around that. It still feels very them and us. The people that are being supported are still very much seen as problems to be fixed and issues to be resolved. And all kind of regulatory stuff as well, the inflexibility within that, people not feeling that they've got permission to fail, that fear of failure if they wanted to do something different. So I think that's it in a nutshell.
Thanks. And it's interesting because this is the one where it looks like there's more stuff that gets in the way than helps if you look around the other boards. And it's that fear of getting it wrong versus that culture of learning. So I'd love to unpick actually what is it that creates that fear of getting it wrong, and how do we create a culture of learning within places and systems and whatever unit we need to describe that. Thank you. Covered a hell of a lot of ground in a really short space of time. It's amazing what you can do when you kind of tap into the collective brains of people in the room. Pen, can I just check that you don't have any questions? So Pen has been diligently capturing this and is going to turn it into something amazing for us. No pressure.
Yeah, well, you did all say far too much for me to keep up, but never mind. What I'll do is I'll
carry on here, trying to summarise it, and if you want to come and have a look, make any suggestions, then please do.
So we're almost done. But Kat, something else you said was, you know, sometimes a plan isn't an outcome. A plan is definitely not an outcome. And there is something about moving this to action. And someone described this as a movement. This is the start of a movement, or building and strengthening of a movement. So we want to make sure that we finish today where we're taking both individual and collective action. Because that feels like the right thing to do, and that's where the energy is my sense. You can, I'm sure you'll probably tell me if I've got that wrong. So hand over to Charlie.
dropping stuff on the floor.
Thank you, Dan. Okay, so we've got 2 sheets of paper that we would like you to fill in. One of them says, I pledge to, and the other one says, I would like help with. So appreciating that there's just been some amazing stuff being talked about in the room today, some really good examples of asset-based areas and all of these things that we've been talking about. Some stuff that you're doing, some stuff that we want to hear from other people. So, on your I pledge to, we want you to think about what it is that you are going to go away from here today and do personally. What we would really like you to do is also to take a picture of yourself and put it on Twitter. But what we also would like you to do is stick it up on the wall where our big rainbow is in the corner. And for a bit of accountability maybe, or to help other people see what you've pledged to, we've asked you to put on the back the best way of contacting you, in case somebody else is really interested in what you're going to do, so that they can follow up with you. And similarly, for the I would like help with, if there's stuff that you are asking for and you haven't necessarily heard in the room today, it doesn't mean it's not out there. Write it on there, put your contact details on the bottom so that everybody, if somebody can help you with that, they can take a picture of it and talk to you about it. What we'd also encourage is, so have a think about what you want to put on these, fill them in, we'll be over on the wall with some sticky tack so you can stick it up. But if you see somebody you know you want to talk to them right now, take a couple of minutes and chat to them now, and then we're going to come back together just to do a bit of sharing on that as well. Is that okay? Wonderful, right.
How long have we got? How long?
Just 5 minutes.
Okay, just going to mute the stream for 5 minutes while this happens. Sounds will come back 5 minutes time.
Sorry. Is that better? Scares people. Is anyone feeling brave, confident enough to share their commitments? Anyone want to share with the room?
So I noticed that this isn't a very diverse room, and it hasn't been all afternoon. So I just think there's something that we perhaps have lost sight of around equalities and diversity. Martin's going to do the shouting. So my observation is that we are not a hugely diverse group. So my pledge is to ask who is not included in everything we do, who isn't here. And I'd like help with creating a more diverse movement, please.
Yeah, my pledge is I'm attempting to write, I'll share a medium and long-term strategy for asset-based community development. And then my ask, I'm still wanting to see some real impact of enabling us on people behind and support, particularly labour authority, where so much of the stuff is still followable great. There's still very specialist services, and we see more enablingness around labour authority. So I'm after examples of that, please.
It's how do you create a place where leaders of community organisations can go for support? Sometimes that can be a really isolating thing. I'm in Penistone, which is quite a rural area, and sometimes that can feel quite an isolating thing. Luckily, I've got friends that I can ring up and have a rant to, but some kind of circle of people would be really lovely to go and have a rant to as well.
I guess the reason I asked you to share, volunteered you, nudged you to share, is some of these people might be in the room, and this could be the support network you might maybe need. Well, no, but you know, there you go.
So if you've got some more, please do add them to the wall. We want to create a bit of a real picture of what we talked about and what we've committed to here today, but also make sure you come and have a look at the sort of thing that people would like help with, because you may hold the answers.
And so we're on the final 5-10 minutes, but we've kind of unhelpfully, unkindly asked you all to commit and make pledges. And Nesta, Sky, TLAP, Shared Lives have kind of done a lot of the work in thinking about how do we run this session today, but it would kind of be slightly unfair if we didn't make a commitment ourselves to kind of support what happens next. I'm going to pass over to you and Sophie, Martin, Alex, just to share.
I'm Ewan from I'm Ewan from the Social Care Institute for Excellence, and we've been working on this agenda for quite a while with colleagues at Nest and with Alex Fox and Shared Lives Plus, and we're really committed to sticking with what I think we can call a movement. Is it a movement? Yeah, it feels like a movement today. So we're really committed to supporting the further development of this network and broadening this network. We're committed to sharing good practice, to supporting events like this and bringing people together to learn from one another. So that's really where we are, and I'm really keen to stay involved.
Hi everyone, I'm Sophie Kendall from Leicester, and what I'd really like to encourage you all to do is to get in touch with me with your ideas on what we can jointly do to actually really support you guys to make this stuff happen. And what are the things that you feel, there's so much support out there, what do you feel would really make a difference? So get in touch with me, that would be brilliant. My email is sophie.kendall and it's on the screen, but that would be great. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kat Rees from the Think Local Act Personal Partnership, and I also have the privilege of having the job title of Co-Production Advisor and working with the National Co-Production Advisory Group. And they are a fabulous bunch of people who are very much part of Think Local Act Personal, and we work very much in co-production together. And our offer of support is around making it real and working with organisations to help them understand what it is they can do locally to develop their response to making it real. And that might be a very simple kind of just come in and facilitate a workshop, or there may be sort of more in-depth support that people want with that. There's also the website, loads of resources on there,
And please sign up to Making It Real. If you've made pledges around what you want to change, it would be great to get those on the Making It Real website as well. Thank you.
So I think we've all made a commitment to do something next and to kind of, again, reflecting on the earlier discussions, make it easier, because at the moment it feels like, it sounds like it was hard work. I'd just like to finish by, it feels like we've started a movement, but every movement needs a leader.
Amen. I suppose what I'm interested in, when we, about a year ago, put out the idea of doing this gathering, and then it turned into a blog series, and then it turned into a commitment to a series of actions following it. We weren't quite sure how it was going to turn out, but increasingly we got to the point where we were gathering glimpses of the future from people. We were asking people, what's the future we want to see, and what glimpses of that do we see in place at the moment, with a view to then considering how we help each other to build on those glimpses, to make them bigger and stronger and more connected. And that does feel kind of movementy. We've been a bit reluctant to use that term. And we don't suggest that we are a movement on our own, we would suggest we're part of the movement. So one of the things we committed to is that following the gathering and all the activity across the 2 days, we would see at least 4 or 5 quite significant initiatives going forward, flowing from the discussions and the sharings and the action planning. And we think this is one of them. We think that at the very least, this is a network of like-minded people giving each other practical support. And I'm thinking back to the points that Bob and John and others were making in the fishbowl around we've got to create something like a movement, we've got to get the picture in order to know what we're aspiring to. And then on the way out somebody said, and we have to know how the sausages are made. So we have to get into the real detail. How do you do that then? How did you do that? And how can you help me do it? So I think the commitment from this is that there will be a network between ourselves and Nesta and Sky and Shared Lives and T-Lab and others. There will be a network. It will be focused on this stuff.
But most importantly, it needs you guys to join it and be part of it as well. So we're going to end there, but with one final request. And we've talked quite a bit about power. And the team at Nesta have been thinking a lot about how do you generate more power, effectively. And we stumbled across this exercise that we're going to do with you, just to kind of end the session on a bit of a high. So it requires everyone to stand up and create this space. And Charlie's going to walk us through it.
I did this at my first ever event with Nesta, and it became the activity that people began to know for me, that everybody used to groan when I stood up. So I hope you enjoy it. Right, what this is about power, as Dan mentioned, and it's quite a good one to end on. And what it involves is power posing, which some of you may have heard about. And I've got some lovely models with me here. Dan, can you please give me an example of one of our power poses?
My favourite is Superman.
So that is move number 1. Pose number 2, Holly, would you like to pick one? Oh, I knew you would leave me with this one as the third one. The third one is the Hulk, and the Hulk also has a sound effect which goes Roar! So, I would like you to pick one, and on the count of 3, we're all going to do the power pose, hold it for a couple of seconds, and that is the end of the day, we'll let you leave. Okay? So pick your pose, and after 3. 1, 2, 3! Roar!
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for watching. See you bright and early tomorrow morning at about 8:30.